Now, the Duke of Sussex has said he wants to reconcile with the King and the Prince of Wales, but has claimed that the palace is unwilling to. Wonder why? Prince Harry has revealed his side of the story in a set of interviews which are set to air 2 days ahead of the publication of his highly anticipated, already half-priced, memoir, Spare. Here's a little taste of what we can expect.
Needed to be this way. The leaking and the planting. I want a family, not an institution. They feel as though it's better to keep us somehow as the villains. They've shown absolutely no willingness to reconcile. I would like to get my father back. I would like to have my brother back.
Well, there you go. Right, joining us now, I'm delighted to say, is the author of Elizabeth and Philip, a story of young love, marriage and monarchy, Dr. Tessa Dunlop. Hello, Tessa. Lovely to see you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Tessa, we have to talk about Harry, don't we? The front page of pretty much every newspaper today. Harry, I want my father and brother back. What do you make about what he's saying and the way he's going about, if that's what he wants, to get the family back together?
What we've got is a perfect storm where the Duke of Sussex is clearly a man in pain. I think perhaps inevitably his two primary family members, remaining family members, were his brother and his father until he married Meghan Markle. And now he's lost both of them. So he's suffering. I think that's perhaps inevitable. And at the same time, he has left his royal role. He's left the institution of monarchy, but he, of course, with inbuilt entitlement, because he was born a blue-blooded prince, has certain expectations about the way he should live, and understandably, I think so, and therefore he needs to make money. So he's punching out this painful message, painful for him, painful for the royal family to receive, with maximum money-making capacity. So it is effectively a perfect storm, and it's a very uncomfortable one, I think, for both the House of Montecito and the House of Windsor.
And is it going to work, Tessa? I mean, come on, if you really want to get back on... All families have rows, OK? This one might be slightly more dramatic. But if you really want to get back on side with a family member, I mean, it's not only washing the dirty laundry in public, it's hanging it out to dry and pointing it out to you in graphic detail. I mean, if you were William, and Kate, I think, is coming in for a bit of a bashing as well in the book that's coming out, is this really the way to build bridges?
I think one of the primary issues, and he kind of addresses it in one of those trailers that have been released, is that he doesn't belong to a so-called normal family. It is an institution as well as a family, and Harry's left the institution and wants just the family, and ne'er the twain will meet, because of course the remaining family members are still within the institution. So there's a paradox there, and it's very difficult to see how it can be unpacked. Will it work? Well, one part of the perfect storm is working, and that is they're making a lot of money. They've got extraordinary platforms in a way that former royals who left the institution didn't have. They've got a whole new continent, not at their feet, but certainly more receptive than I think our conservative press would like to acknowledge in this country. And I think that amidst the pain thesis, because we have to recognise that it's their truth rather than just the whole truth, I think that he's made some valid criticisms. But do I believe this is the road to recovery for his relationship with Charles and William? No, it's clearly not. It doesn't take a psychotherapist to work that one out.
And Tessa, I have to ask this question, I mean, because that's what people watching, listening this morning will be saying. How much of this do you think is coming from Meghan? Or do you think it is all Harry's doing?
Well, interestingly, I think that we would love to pretend. I say we. I say the kind of the agendaed press, and it is Dawn. I mean, even the way you introduced this section, there were little arrows flying, weren't there? You know, already half price. But when the majority of Britain's press are not on Harry and Meghan's side, I'm not saying they should be, but I think that we have to own that. And generally, because Harry was a charismatic, cool dude who did his couple of tours in Afghanistan, he wasn't, you know, a dissolute king like Edward VIII. He wasn't a disgraceful prince like Andrew. He was someone we were all fond of. So it works for our predominantly right-wing media agenda to make out that the baddie is Meghan. baddie insofar as we don't like people attacking our famous institution of state, the monarchy. But if you look at Harry, I mean, this is a guy who's on a very deeply personal journey, and he's clearly a man in pain. I was struck in those trailers how pale he looked. There is no sort of sun-drenched Californian vibe going on. He's a man who's feeling this. And without the protection of monarchy and without the protection of his family around him, I kind of feel that he's almost alone. It's something that Meghan can't share with him, really, because she very briefly flirted with the House of Windsor and kind of pretended to be a princess for a little bit. But Harry grew up with this. The split, the wrench. I mean, this is his roots. This is his DNA. It's really painful stuff, which is why it is both compelling and appalling to watch.